Welcome you all to our institute AKS IAS on the behalf of our entire team here. My name is Uday and I'm an anthropology faculty here teaching anthropology as an optional study for the civil services examination conducted by UPSC, the Union Public Service Commission. Fine. Introduction apart, why are we meeting at all today? As the title of the session suggests, we all are here for an orientation session on the subject anthropology, as you can see there. Fine. So let me start the session. First, let me tell you all that we have planned not one, but in fact a series of total 5 orientation sessions on the subject anthropology. Fine. As you can see, we have divided these sessions, 5 sessions, into 2 types. One will be the general orientation session, that is today's lecture, today's session. That will be one, and then it will be followed by 4 more sessions, which will be specific orientation sessions. And then what is the difference between these? As you will see that today's session is general orientation on the entire subject, whereas when I talk about the specific orientation, I will be taking each session on one component of the subject. The subject, as you will see later on, will have 4 components. So we will have 4 such specific sessions, each dealing with one particular component of the subject. And let me tell you all at the very beginning itself that each of these sessions, particularly the specific sessions, will be hardly a 10 to 15 minute session. It's a very short sessions. Cumulatively, you can see there will be coming around 45 minutes to 1 hour. Fine. And today's session will be slightly lengthy. It may be going till half an hour or 45 minutes because this is the first time I'm introducing this subject to you all, so it might take some time. Fine. So let me go forward with today's session, the general session on the entire subject. Fine. But you might ask a question, what is the need for such an elaborate orientation on the subject at all? So yes, within a few seconds you will be able to understand why these orientation sessions are so important. Fine. As most of the candidates who are already preparing or who wish to prepare for the UPSC, the civil service examination, you might be aware of this fact that every candidate who is going to write the examination needs to write 2 sets of papers in the main examination. The one is a general studies, which is common for all candidates, whereas each candidate also has to select one subject which is called an optional subject, which is specific to him or her. Fine. And he has to select this optional subject from 20 plus optional subjects that are being offered by UPSC. Okay. 20 plus optional subjects offered by UPSC. Here, it is at this point that many students really face a big problem. How to select the right optional that is suitable to you from the 20 plus optionals that are there, that are being offered by the UPSC. Fine. And today's class and today's session is an endeavor from our side to help you with respect to one particular object or subject, that is anthropology. Fine. Here you will see what is the importance of an optional subject. You will see that when it comes to the mains examination, you will understand that the optional carries 30 to 35% weight of the total marks of the examination. And in this examination, where even a single mark can make and break your career, you can understand the importance of, I need not overemphasize the importance of an optional subject which carries 30-35% weight in the examination. And in fact, as you can see there, through our experience, we see that one major reason for failure of many candidates is wrong selection of their optional. That is, many students actually randomly select an optional. Fine. They spend a lot of time, effort, money, only to realize later that they are finding a problem with this optional. Either it is not scoring or is not interesting. For several reasons, they try to change their optional. But then I hope you can clearly see that that's really not a wise process. Wisdom lies in taking a informed decision in the beginning itself so that you need not change your optional. Fine. That doesn't mean there have not been cases where students have changed their options and come out with flying colors. There are some cases, but still there are only few of them. There are exceptions. You cannot do that. Not everyone can afford to do that. Fine. So it's always better that before you take a call, take it in a more informed manner, and that's the very purpose of today's lecture, to help you all to see how to select any subject. And I'll be discussing closely with respect to my optional study, that is anthropology. Okay, let me go further. However, before I proceed into the discussion about the subject as such, let me make a very important note. As you'll see here, I've written UPSC is a very fair body. What do I mean by that? I simply say that, yes, no optional, please mind my words, no optional of all the 20 plus optionals, no optional is good or bad. Every optional is equally good or bad. Okay. The point is, what is good for you, what is bad for you, that is, you need to identify, because each individual comes from a different academic, social and financial background. Each has their own intellectual orientations. So it is all about, it's not about whether the optional is correct or wrong. No, it's whether it is correct for you or no. That is what your focus should be on. So even as I go into my subject and try to say something very positive about anthropology, please keep in mind that I am not demeaning any other optional. Every optional is equally good. It's only depends upon how much it is suitable to you. Fine. And also, let me tell a word about the purpose of the session. Yeah, I generally repeat this again and again, saying that we are here not to influence you or convince you to take anthropology. No, it's only to inform you that what anthropology is all about, what is the subject, and once you know that anthropology is so and so, then you can decide whether it is really suitable to you or not. Fine. So that is the main purpose of this session. And now, having given a basic introduction about what we are going to do and why we are going to do this session, let me go further into this discussion. Fine. And today's session, as I said, of the 5 sessions, today's is the general discussion, general orientation session on entire subject. And I have broken down today's session into 3 heads. As you can see, in the first, I will be taking up introduction of the subject itself. I will tell you all what anthropology is all about, so that once you know what anthropology is studying, what does it deal with, you may you may try to relate it. You can get a feel of the subject and understand whether it's really suitable to you or not. Once I'm done with this portion, I come to the second aspect, that is whether how suitable this optional is as for the examination point of view. Here I will discuss about the subject as such, but the second aspect of the discussion will be how it is suitable for the examination. And finally, the third aspect, I will also discuss about the approach that we undertake here at our institute towards the subject, our teaching style, the pedagogy and all these things I'll be discussing in the third segment of the session. Fine. Let me now start with the first aspect. As I said, introduction about the subject or anthropology itself. Fine. Let me go there. From childhood, you might have heard about many ologies like biology, psychology, sociology, and many more, zoology and ologies. Many ologies you might have heard from your childhood. Fine. But for many of us, you might not have heard anthropology. Anthropology is relatively a less known term. Fine. And in fact, it might be the first encounter with this term for many of you. But then that's not something so difficult. Let us work on it and see what it is all about. As you can see there, we can divide this word anthropology into 2 halves, like anthropos and logos. Ology, logos, is generally means study, like biology means study of living beings. Zoology means studying of animals, etc. So ology means study. Here anthropos means humans. So what essentially becomes this term? It simply says it is a study of humans. Study of humans. That is the most basic and simple definition you can have for this term. So what does anthropology study? Anthropology studies about humans. It is you and me. It is not something very abstract that is that we do not know. Yeah, it is simply observing humans in the day-to-day life. Fine. Having said this, this is only the basic definition. Fine. Let me go one step further and show you certain dimensions. Fine. We have just now seen that anthropology is a study of humans. Okay. But now let us ask a few questions. Why should we study about humans at all? Why should we study about humans? Do you think is it necessary to study humans? Yeah, what is so special about these people? Yeah, we will look into that aspect just right away in a few moments. Now, okay, even if you understand that this guy is these people are so important, even if you understand that yes, we need to study them, let us see what we should study about humans, what we will study about them. And then we'll also see several other aspects, how to study these people. You can see the very logical questions there. When we say anthropology studying humans, now obviously the question is, why should you study it? And what will you study about them? And how will you study about them? Fine. See, obviously today's class is an introductory orientation session. So I'll not be dealing with all these aspects. These aspects generally I leave it for the classroom discussion. But right now I'll be dealing with these two aspects. Why should you study about humans? Fine. And what does anthropology study about humans? Fine. Let me start with the first question, why? And before I go there, I would generally say that most of you might have heard about a famous scientist named Stephen Hawking. Yeah. In fact, he is considered as one of the greatest scientists after people like Newton, Einstein, and then people take the name of Stephen Hawking. Fine. It's not in my words. Let us see what Stephen Hawking has to say about humans. Fine. I am slightly getting into the subject. Please be more attentive. Fine. Just have a look at this statement that Stephen Hawking has to make. He says, please be, you can try to understand, it's a beautiful quotation by him. He says, we are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet of a average star. Let us stop here. Let us stop here and try to understand what this person is trying to communicate to us. He's saying we is humans. See how beautifully he has put it here. He says we, that is humans, are just an advanced breed of monkeys. He is equating humans with almost monkeys, but saying a slightly advanced breed. And where are we? On a minor planet. He's saying Earth is a minor planet. And where is this Earth? Minor planet is nothing but Earth. Where is this Earth? It's on a average star, very average star. Not average, very average star. What is this average star? This is Sun. Fine. So, why is he calling so? See, try to understand what is he doing here. In the first half of the quotation, he's trying to say is that these people, humans, are just a breed of monkeys on a small planet around a small star, an average star around Sun. He's trying to tell us that in this big universe, in the galaxies and millions and billions of stars, there is one star, this average star Sun, on one planet. On that planet, these people are some species of monkeys. This is how he is categorizing our race, humans, our species. But now, on one hand, you can see he's actually removing all significance. He's saying this is just a breed of monkeys. But now he uses a but, a major but here. And he says, but we can understand the universe. He says, we can understand the universe, and that makes us something special. Very special. I hope you are able to visualize what this person was saying. And this is a beautiful quotation capturing anthropology in essence. Though he is a physics scientist, it shows a lot of wisdom on the part of this person. Right? So he says, why are we special? We are special because yes, we are no doubt we are monkeys. We are related to monkeys, but still we can understand this entire universe, and that makes us very, very special. And don't you think humans are having some speciality? Don't they deserve to be an object of study? Yes, indeed. So that's the reason why anthropology is trying to study these people, because they are so special. Of all the living forms that are available on earth, only one species that is capable of becoming conscious of itself and trying to understand the entire nature and universe, and that species is the human species. And given this speciality, no other animal has this, and that's the reason anthropology has picked up its focus of study as humans. Fine. So, but what Hawkins has not said in this quotation is that, yes, he is highlighting the very positive qualities of humans over here. Very special in a way. Obviously, you can see it's a very positive aspect. Fine. But then, what he has not said here is that the same humans who are coming from a breed of monkeys have great capabilities, positive aspects, also have a very dangerous negative aspect as well. As you know, fine, you'll see that humans are driving other species to extinction. We are cutting down forests, raising them down. We suck up the resources of this earth, and we have become a parasite on this earth. And it is said that if the present developmental model keeps continuing, as some of you might be aware of the climate change that is happening, the floods that we see, the disasters that we face every day, yeah, who is driving all this? Yes, again the same species, humans. I hope you are able to understand why anthropology takes the study of humans seriously. Yeah, a normal monkey type of an animal having a lot of positive qualities. Again, it's so dangerous a species that it is even threatening the earth itself. Fine. And by doing so, it is also threatening its own future. Fine. So that's the main reason why humans are so special and we study about them. Fine. Now, let me go to the second aspect as to what anthropology studies about humans. It studies about humans, yes. Why does it study? We have understood that these people are something special compared to all other animals, so they deserve to be studied. Okay, that's also done. But now, what do we study about humans? Fine. Let us see here. The first thing I have written here is all aspects. That is, anthropology studies every aspect of human beings. Like, for example, let me contrast anthropology with other subjects. For example, if you take biology, it will study only the biological aspect of humans. That is the body portion. Suppose you take psychology, it will study the mental aspects of human nature. Likewise, if you go on and on, you will have another subject, sociology. It studies more about the social aspects of humans. Fine. This is one subject which slightly, compared to other subjects, comes more close to anthropology, but still the scope of sociology is far, far less than what compared to that of anthropology. And then you have many other subjects like political science. This studies only political aspects. Economy or economics, this studies only economic aspects of human beings. But the distinction of anthropology is that it does not study one or two aspects like these subjects. It tries to integrate all of them and tries to give you a total picture, an integrated view about humans. Fine. And that's the reason we say anthropology studies all aspects of humans. And it studies humans in a holistic manner, and it gives you a total picture, not one or two aspects like physical, mental. No, it tries to cover all these aspects. Fine. And now, having shown you all the scope of the subject, let us see a few points about the different aspects. So if you try to club all of them, we will see that all aspects can be broken down into three components. One is the biological aspect, because the story starts here. Without your brain and your body, your mind will not obviously, it doesn't exist. So everything starts with the biological aspect. And then we move on to a special capacity that humans have, the cultural capacity. And finally, we will also see the third aspect, that is social, because everywhere you see humans live in groups. They don't live isolated lives. Fine. So once we cover all these three aspects, it is anthropology serves to give you a complete picture of humans, rather than a part like a disintegrated view given by other subjects. Fine. Let me now take up each of these aspects and see one or two points about each of them. Let me go with biology. Fine. I hope you can just have a look at the picture there, and we can just relate now what Stephen Hawking had said, that we are just an advanced breed of monkeys. Yes or no? I hope many of us will not deny this aspect, that yeah, you can just have a look at this picture there. This is the monkey on this side, and on this side you have two chimpanzees. They are apes. Chimpanzees. Fine. We will see once we go into the subject in the course, everything will be dealt in detail. The main purpose for today's session is to give you an idea, what is this subject all about? What does it do? Okay. So very briefly we'll see. Yeah. See, all of us have seen monkeys in our daily life. You just look at the facial structure, see its ears, a lot of similarities with us or no? Yeah. And particularly look at its hands, the fingers. Yeah. And here again it's more clear. Look at the ears, even more like us. Look at the hands. Yes, it can stand on two legs to some extent. Sometimes they can walk on two legs also without going for four. Okay. So we do have a lot of similarities with these monkeys and apes, that is particularly with chimpanzee. Okay. So now what does it imply? It implies that the biological aspect here is trying to study, just a second. This biological aspect is trying to study the first aspect of biology will be, how did we evolve from these kind of creatures, monkeys and then apes and then humans. Fine, you will see that. So this is one aspect we are going to study, and as you will see, it's not really a so difficult task. It's a mere comparison of the different aspects of these animals and humans. Fine, it's a very, very interesting subject, because after all, they are our cousins. They are our biological cousins, they are relatives. So it's not really a difficult task. So biological evolution is one aspect that we all study in this. The second aspect that which we study as part of biology will be called as variation, human variation. What is this? Just try to visualize different humans in your eyes. For example, take people from East Asia like Japan, Korea, China. You look at their facial features. Yeah, you can visualize these people are generally said to be Mongoloids. Okay. Now visualize a person from Africa. You see his skin tone, yeah, his hair, his structure. Yeah, they are very, very different from that of Mongoloid, East Asian person. Yeah, these people are generally called Negroids. And then try to visualize a European in your mind. Yeah, they have a very reddish skin and a different type of a facial structure and all these things. And the skin tone is completely different from these two people. When you can see, that is, all of these people are humans or no? Yeah, we are all humans. But is there not some variation among themselves? There is a lot of variation. Again, it's a simple discussion about why did these variations come. See, most of you would have already guessed why these variations should have come. Most important role played in these variations is that of environment. If some people live in a area which has a lot of heat, a high temperature in the tropical region of the earth, yes, naturally your skin will have a darker tone, because there is a pigment that your body releases called melanin. Uh, that's very, very essential if you need to live in such an area, because that will protect you from the harmful UV rays of the sun. Okay, so these are the second aspect that we study about. First is, how did we come from these animals? That is one aspect. The second aspect, okay, we came, but are we all the same? No, we are different. So that is the second aspect that we are going to study. And then the third aspect that you will study as part of biology will be something called genetics. Don't be afraid. I have a session, separate session on all of these things, as I just now said. Specific sessions, you will have a more detailed understanding of each of these component. Okay. Now, what is this genetics? See, again, genetics is not something very abstract, or okay. This is something which is happening in every cell of our body. In your childhood, you might have heard about that an organism is made of cells, organs and cells, and each cell has a nucleus, and so several parts of the new cell are mitochondria and all these things. Yeah, these are certain things that we are going to discuss here. But now, often what people don't realize is that there is a relation between these two. Evolution and variation as one aspect, and this as another aspect. That is, this happens at a macro level. That is, what you find that the monkeys and apes and humans, this evolution has happened. This we can see visibly on the macro level. You can compare a monkey, ape and human. Yeah, you can clearly see that they are related, but they are also different from each other. But now, why did these differences come? Because there is something happening inside the body. At the micro level, there are some changes happening, and these changes happen over a long periods of time. Okay, this evolution doesn't happen in a few years. It takes literally takes lakhs and even millions of years. Okay, and throughout all these years, there are some small changes happening inside every cell that is programming that organism to become a different organism from the one which it has started. Okay, and these micro level changes are what you are going to study at the genetics. That's all. What you can see visibly on the surface is evolution and variation, both of these. But how did this evolution happen and variation occur? How do they happen? Because there are some tiny changes going on inside your body and inside every cell, inside your chromosomes, inside your genes, and that micro level processes is nothing but your genetics. Mind you, yes, I will discuss a lot about this, as I said, in a specific orientation session. Don't be afraid. They're very, very scoring. Okay, literally you will start enjoying what you study eventually. That's what happens with many of the students. Fine. So this is the main one aspect about of the three aspects: biological, cultural and social. These are the three aspects within biology. That's all, nothing more than this. Okay, some macro level things are happening. Why are they happening? Because of some micro level changes. These are genetics, and this is evolution and variation. And before I go on to the next segment, evolution occurs over time. Yes or no? As time passes, evolution is happening. But variation occurs over space. We are all humans, but humans in that place, humans in this place and human in that place are different. So variation across space, evolution over time is the main purpose of study of anthropology. Why humans have evolved, why they vary among themselves, and how does that variation and evolution happen? Because it is happening because of some micro level changes that are happening inside our body. That's what we are going to study as part of biology. Okay. I really do not intend to go into depth of any more of this. Fine. Let me move on to the next segment. As I said, I will deal in detail later on in the individual sessions. Now, I would like to take another aspect, the cultural aspect. Okay. Here in this picture, try to see this animal, the same animal, the chimpanzee. What is she doing here? Look at this. This chimpanzee is carrying some food in her arms. Fine. Now, what is so special about it? Yeah, herein lies the secret for the capacity of humans. That is, just now as I said, we have come from monkeys, we are relatives of monkeys and apes. So obviously we will have some similarities between them. Yeah, but only that we are more advanced than them. Yeah, let me now slowly come towards from the biological aspect, I am trying to come towards the cultural aspect. Okay. As we just now say, monkeys, apes, humans, more advanced, that's all. Why are we so advanced? What is that secret? Where is that secret? Let us understand now. If you generally look at many other animals, keep them aside and compare them with other animals. I'll ask you a basic question. Just imagine, I generally give this example in my class. Just imagine that you are going on a street, an empty street, okay, early in the morning. You don't have any weapon in your hand, no stick or a rod or a stone, nothing is there around you nor with you, and you have one angry dog. You encounter it on a street and you really do not have much space to run away here and there. Now please tell me, who do you think is more powerful in this context? Undoubtedly you all know it's the dog. Yeah, suppose I put you in a room, lock you in a room with a cat and you, who is powerful? Again, a cat is dangerous, obviously it has some kind of claws and all these things. Snake and humans, yes. Lion, forget about elephant and all these things, yes. Compared with other animals, human is a very, very weak animal. Very weak. You can't fight a cat here, forget a dog and all these things, yes. One bite you can understand. But this guy who is so weak compared to all other animals, but then just now I said he has some capabilities which none of them have. And today he has become the master of all these animals. Today humans, we capture lions and keep them in the zoos. Yeah, we make them do circus. We, in some Buddhist monks and all these things, they even raise tigers and lions as pets. How come? As I say, they're very weak, but again they're very, very strong. They're very powerful than all these animals. They can tame them, they can pet them, they can put them in zoos, train them in circuses. You know, can a lion train a human? Can an elephant train a human? No. But then now, on one hand I'm saying that the weak people, humans are very, very weak. On the other hand I'm contradicting and saying that we are the king of all these animals. Now how come this difference comes? Yes, herein you'll have to observe that most of these animals have to walk on 4 limbs. They have to use all the 4 limbs for locomotion. They have to go on this. But a small change started among these 2 animals, monkeys and apes. Sometimes these animals can walk bipedal. Bipedal, bi is 2, pedal means limbs. 2 legs, they can walk. I think that's what I was trying to show you all in the previous picture. Here, that is, you can walk on 2 legs only. What does it mean? That is, and this feature which began slightly in the monkeys and more better in the apes, it has become more advanced in the humans. Among the humans, this feature became even more perfect. That is, we became completely erect. That is, this guy has bipedal locomotion, which implies that he does not need 4 legs. His only 2 are sufficient for him to move around here and there. So you will see that bipedal, only 2 are necessary. That what does it imply? It means he has 2 free limbs. These are free now. These are free. Now, what will he do with these? Because, yeah, and if you look at this here, what is it doing? Now, with these free hands, humans can pick up objects from nature, just as this ape has done now. You can pick up objects from nature, you can use them, you can modify them, and you can create new objects also. For example, you will take one and you will take another, you will join them and you will modify them, and you will see this is a new item which is not there in the nature at all. You have taken materials from nature. Humans, because they have free limbs, 2 free hands, they can take objects from nature and they can join them, they can break them, they can change them, and they can create new objects which were not available in the nature in the first place. I hope you are able to understand the point that I am trying to drive here. Is that with these he can make, that is from nature he will take objects and using his free limbs he can modify them and create new objects. Which were never present in the nature. And because these objects were not created by nature and they are created artificially by humans, we gave a new name for these, and that is called as culture. That is, anything which is not made by man is nature. It's natural, it's naturally occurring. But anything which is made by man separately, that will be given the term as culture. Though this is a very, very simplistic definition of culture, because it's a important concept. In the regular classroom course, I will have a very lengthy discussions on this. But for you all to give a basic understanding, what is this culture? Culture is not simply dance and drama and painting and sculpture. Culture is a way of life. It's a very, very important aspect that differentiate humans from all the rest of the animal kingdom. Okay. So this culture, you will see, is the ability of humans to create something new which was not there in the nature. Fine. And now let me build on this further and to suggest you another point here. For example, one of the first items that man started picking up from the nature was stone. And he started modifying these stones, what he was finding in the nature. He was taking them, he was hitting one with another and all these things. So he started making tools out of these stones. Now mind you, stone is natural. Did man make stone? Did he make the stone? No, stone was provided by the nature. But do you find tools, ready-made tools in the nature? No, he has to make these tools. So this is nature and this will be culture. Fine. And it is these tools that gave the superiority to man over all the other animals. Fine. Yes, I hope you are able to understand. If only other animals also had these free limbs, if only they could have done all these things, yeah, they are in no way inferior to us. The greatest thing that separates us from the rest of the animals is not our big brains, not our intelligence. It actually is our free limbs. Okay. Suppose even if you have a greatest brain, the biggest brain, what do you think? What can you do if you don't have these tools? Everything will be here, but you can't do anything. So the secret for the difference between humans and other animals lies in his body structure, the erect posture, the bipedal locomotion, free limbs by which he can create new objects, and these will give a lot of benefit for him over other animals, and thus he became superior than others. And then last point about the culture. Here, as I say, initially man used stone to make his tools, and when you hit one stone with another stone, you can see some type of stones can give a spark. Yes or no? They can give a spark, and that spark, if it falls on a dry grass, obviously it started giving rise to fire. And man, over a period of time, he started controlling fire also. And once he had fire under his control, he can frighten any animal. No animal will ever come to him. So his life became more secure. Fine. He need not be worried about his livelihood. He is very happy that he has got control over fire. And this is how you will see man, step by step, he started evolving, and the distance between humanity and the animals is increasing day by day by day. And the greater advance he makes, yes, he's one step further away from them. Another step. That's how humans have evolved. In the previous aspect, if you saw biological evolution, what you will see here is cultural evolution. Because all these things did not remain the same. The culture that he started did not remain static. It evolved over every generation. This culture was evolving and evolving and evolving. And today we see we have built such a huge complex civilization. Fine. You people sitting at some your remote places at your houses, I standing here, but then how are we able to interact? How are we able to transcend the barriers of space? Yes, that's what is technology. And there, yeah, that separates us from other animals. Fine. So I hope you can clearly see that yes, these are all quite interesting aspects of study. Okay. In depth, I will take in the specific orientation sessions also. I will discuss more on cultural aspect as well. Okay. For now, I think it's sufficient. Let me move on to the next aspect, the social aspect. The third aspect, the final aspect, social. Here, I would like to ask a question on your side. Okay. What do you think about how free are you to eat anything that you want, to dress any way you want, or to marry anyone you want? How free are you to do that? Can you eat anything? You know that every community which you find have certain items that are prohibited from eating. Fine. Can you dress any way you want? No, again, no. There are certain restrictions on how you need to dress. And can you marry anyone you want? Yeah, to some extent we try that, but then that's really not possible. There are limitations for that. What I'm essentially trying to point out here is that an individual, we think we are very, very free, but in fact, we are all living in a cage surrounded by many other individuals. What I'm trying to point out here is that I am here, I can't eat anything and everything I want. There are some, okay, today we are living in a complex society. Okay, it may be the amount of freedom available is more. Amount of freedom available in such complex society is more. But if you take 200 years before, these are very, very rigid conditions. You cannot escape those. Fine. That is what I'm trying to essentially say here is that an individual does not live in isolation. He is always living as part of a larger system of other individuals. Other individuals are living, and there are many hidden forces, the invisible forces that prevent you complete freedom which you wish. Okay. And where are these forces coming from? Yes, there are forces coming from the world that is outside you. And like you, there are so many other individuals also living in a society. And when they interact, they have certain rules and regulations, how they wish to live their life in a peaceful manner. They have some restrictions on each behavior. Yes, and that mutually agreed, people live in a group, and that group we call as a human society. And there is no one society. As you know, there are hundreds and hundreds of societies across the world. For example, even if you take the Telugu states, they have Telangana. Both of these people speak the same language, Telangana and Andhra, and so many things. But yet, you will find minor differences. Every state, every country has these differences. So, there are several societies here and there, each society having its own rules. And again, when these societies interact with each other, again a new dynamics comes out. All of these interesting aspects are what we study as part of the social aspect of man. That is essentially the point. Simple point here is, you can see the one good point about the social aspect is you can observe these things every day in your life. Fine. And here you will see that marriage, family, economy, politics, where do these things happen? Do these happen in mountains and heavens? No, these are all activities which happen in everyday life. The political things, economic, marriage, family, you go to once you study the subject of anthropology and then you attend a marriage in your family or in your relatives, you can clearly see what marriage is all about. Marriage is not simply about enjoying or something. It's about assuming a new role. That is, before marriage, your role in the society is one type of role. But after marriage, the expectation from the society will be changed. That is, after marriage, the society wants you to assume a new role, wants you to perform new functions. Okay, because now that you're married, the society expects that you bring out new children so that the society will keep running. Yeah, and they expect that you bring up this child, you make him aware of the culture, and that's all about marriage. Marriage is nothing but simply giving a new status as a person becomes is aging. Yeah, simply the same, many such aspects you can observe in your daily life. And essentially here with this I'll stop this discussion about the subject as such. Fine, because if there is so much matter that I can keep talking on and on and on. More of these I will deal in the specific orientation session. For this, I think it's more than sufficient to give you an idea what this subject is all about. Fine. Now, let me talk about the particular syllabus in particular. Okay. Here, as every other optional in anthropology also has two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, and again the structure is same. In the paper 1 we talk about world in general, and in paper 2 we talk about particularly about India. This is the same. If you take political science, yes, they generally talk about theory, the world level things, and in paper 2 they talk about Indian politics. Sociology, same. Anthropology, same. World and India. Then, when we look into paper 1, we have physical anthropology, which is nothing but biological anthropology, and in paper second part, that is, each paper has two components. Paper 1 biological, just now we saw that aspect, and paper another one is socio-cultural aspect. This is the second component. I have discussed both of these just now. Okay. Paper 2 you have Indian society, and within Indian society there is another segment of people who are slightly having a different culture than Indian society. They are the tribal societies. So we tend to study them slightly as a separate segment of Indian society. Okay, we need to give some greater attention to them. So that's the reason we divide paper 2 into two components. So these are the four components. As I said, I will be taking up a 10 to 15 minutes video on each of these components, which will follow in the coming days. Fine. So with this, I am done with the first segment of the discussion for the day. I have given you all an overview of the subject of anthropology, a feel of it, for you all to understand what this subject is all about, whether it's suitable to me or not, is it easy or not. To some extent I have told you all. But now let me come on to the second segment of the discussion, that is how anthropology is suitable as an optional subject for the civil service examination. Fine. Here I have taken the statistics from the UPSC website itself, where the UPSC every year submits an annual report to the Parliament, and in this it gives the details about the examination it held in that year, who were the people who appeared it, and the details about these candidates and all these things is submitted to the Parliament. And from the UPSC website I have picked up certain statistics for you all, so that I do not want to speak randomly, but based my arguments on some facts. You can access them from the UPSC website as well. So the first chart is trying to show you all that in the last 3 years, see, we do not have the annual report for the 18 and 19 has not yet been submitted. It's not available on the net. So I'm using 15, 16, 17. So what is this chart trying to show you all? It is trying to show that in the 3 years, this is trying to show that the finally selected candidates, the profile of the selected candidates. If you see, of all the candidates who have been finalized by the UPSC, most of them are coming from an engineering background. This is speaking about their academic background, engineering. And you will see there is a steady increase. 2015 it is 55% engineers who are selected finally, 59 and 66. Okay, so there is a steady increase in the number of engineers who are, that is people from this background entering into the civil services. And now, very surprisingly, if you look at the optional subject these people are selecting, is that optional subject, that is maximum portion of them is their social sciences. They are selecting social sciences. They are not selecting their engineering subjects. They are not selecting technical subjects, but rather they are selecting social science subjects. And you can see the number. It's again 85% of the final candidates. If you look at the options that they selected, they're all coming from social sciences. So clearly indicating that social sciences enjoy greater popularity than technical subjects like mathematics and chemistry, engineering subjects, medical science. Again, please, I am talking on basis of facts. Fine, I don't have any favor with either these social sciences or them. There have been people who have cleared with mathematics, commerce and chemistry as an optionals. Okay, but then yeah, it's up to you all which one you have to choose. Putting facts in front of you is our job. So clear, the one point that you can take from here is maximum number of candidates are going for social science subjects. Next, the next chart is trying to show you all that I have listed the some of the social science options. As I just now said, social science is more popular than the technical subjects, and within social sciences this chart is trying to show you all, I have highlighted my subject, obviously not to discriminate against them, only to show, to differentiate them from my other subjects. Okay, so these are within social sciences. Let us see how they are performing over the years. These three columns are trying to show you year wise 15, 16 and 17, and everywhere you, in each box you have three digits, which is trying to show you all that the first one is corresponding to how many people appeared in the main examination with this optional in that year. In 2015, 641 people appeared in the main examination with anthropology as an optional. And how many could finally selected? 95 out of them. And if you divide them, you will get the success rate, that is the third figure, 14.8. And you can see here, none of them is coming even closer to that. Again, due respect to every option, UPSC is a fair body, no doubt about it. Okay, same. That's how you need to read the table. Fine. You can look at here, anthropology. Yes, it's definitely, it has a good success rate, no doubt about it. And compared to other options, I don't want to really boast about my subject. It's only based on facts. You need to take a decision. Fine. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can go back home, look into the UPSC annual report. You will get this right away from there. It's only that you need to put them at one place, as I did. Okay. And of all the other optionals, you will see geography is the one which has the maximum number of people taking geography. 3,391. You look at the other numbers, none of them even come near that. So, of all the other optionals, geography is the highest number of people appearing with geography. With which optional? It's geography. But the success rate, you will see, has been pathetically low. 3.4, 5.4, 5.9, 5.5. This has been the success rate in geography. Okay. But then, again, there have been people. If you are determined, I will say you can do with any optional. That depends on you. Nothing bad to say about any optional here. Okay, it's only to play safe. That's all. See, finally the point is to get into UPSC. It's not to become a geographer and a sociologist or an anthropologist. Okay, I don't want you all to become an anthropologist, right? It's the final point is to get into the examination, clear the examination. So selecting the most instrumental way is the best way forward. Fine. You can have a look at this. You can make your decisions. Okay. Next. And with respect to the toppers in the recent years, I need not tell much about this. Most of you all be aware. In the 2008, 17, 18, 19, we have all these toppers. And 2017 was the best year for anthropology students. As you can see, the first four people having a single digit ranks, 1, 3, 6 and 7. And that's something clearly telling you anthropology is an optional. And here at one point I need to add that Anudeep Durishetty and Koya Sri Harsha, the AKS website in the YouTube channel, we have the videos of Koya Sri Harsha and Anudeep Durishetty. You can visit our channel AKS. Here these two toppers, Anudeep Durishetty and Koya Sri Harsha, have given their inputs and strategy as to how to study about anthropology. Okay. Then coming, what is general criteria for selecting an optional? Okay, I am almost done with this session, just having final touches. Success rate, see generally what, out of 20 options you have to select one. How will you select? There should be some criteria, right? Yeah, we are trying to see those criteria. Success rate should be the first and most important, as I feel. Yeah, and just now I showed you the charts which are trying to, on this account I will rate my subject anthropology as definitely a good optional, if not a great and the greatest, but yes, it does have its scoring potential and the success rate is definitely very decent. Nature of the subject is the second aspect generally, whether it's very static or dynamic, what kind of a subject it is. As you will see, in anthropology we will discuss a lot about the past. Yeah, and the past, once it's done, we saw biological evolution. Can you change biological evolution? Not much. Okay, recent current developments keep happening here and there, but yeah, the syllabus is more static end. There is a dynamic part as well, particularly which relates to tribals. the tribal section of India, that's slightly dynamic because there are many programs that government launches with respect to the tribal welfare and all these things. Some committees will come here and there, everything of that will be covered in the class. And on this account also, more anthropology is on this side, it is on static. Third, nature of the questions that are asked in the examination. Again here, which are generally direct, indirect, simple, complex. Again I'll say, to some extent, anthropology falls on this end, that is direct questions. Why? Generally the nature of subject itself is static, so you can't really much mold and bend these questions. Again, that doesn't mean that direct means you can simply go and dump and come. No, obviously UPSC takes its own precautions and it will ensure that it will give a level playing field for all optionals. No optional is right or wrong, it's only depending upon how much they are suitable to you. Next, interesting subject matter will be another criteria. As I just now shown, I hope I try to generate some interest on the subject matter of the subject. Yes, it deals with humans and it's not a rocket science. It's dealing with everything that's happening around us. Basic questions, and yes, anthropology is undoubtedly an interesting subject. Finally, availability of materials and coaching institutes. Yes, there is no dearth of this. You really have many good materials and all these things available there. And finally, overlap with the general studies is also one more aspect that people try to see when they are selecting an optional. But frankly, on this account, I will say, compared to other optionals like geography, history, political science, the overlap of anthropology with the general studies is slightly on the lower side. It doesn't mean it does not have. It has its own overlap, but the amount of overlap is slightly less, being very frank with you all. Okay, and you can check that later on as well. But however, this overlap is found in all the papers. In every paper, including essay, you can use your anthropological knowledge and try always give a very beautiful perspective from anthropology, because anthropology has its own unique way of understanding things. It does not understand in one or two aspects, it gives you the whole picture. So that kind of a skill will definitely reflect in your general studies as well. Fine. On all these accounts, I will definitely rate my optional as a decent, definitely a decent optional. And finally, coming to the last segment of our session today, our approach that we take at our institute. Okay, and the first and foremost, I would say that it starts with limited seats, limited capacity of students. Why? Because herein lies the main problem. If I'll share some of the problems that I faced when I was a student. When you are a part of a very big institute, the problem is that the teacher is not accessible to you all. It really becomes very difficult for you to go through all this mass of the students and get an access. And even you can't blame the teacher there clearly, because teacher cannot cater to all the students there. And that's the reason, the first and foremost we have ensured, and that's the reason I am giving it in the very beginning of the list here. The limited seats we have decided that we will go for limited seats. Why? Because we understand that you cannot mass manufacture human resources. You cannot have 300 people listening to one teacher and on and on and on. No, you will get a lot of doubts. You will have your particular weaknesses, because each individual, each candidate is coming from a different social background. He's coming from a different academic, financial background. Okay, we have that in our mind, and we want to address those unique the particular aspects of each individual, so that once we have a limited seats, we can give personal attention to each of the student. Yes, and these are all not hollow promises. Once you start, you can understand that, and that's the reason we are going with a limited seats. And then next, here it is not only me, we are a team of faculty here. There are one or two other segments the other faculties will be dealing, because it's like doing one-man show. I feel particularly in anthropology is not an easy task, because there is a biology section. The biology section will be dealt by an expert and a doctor and an expert in that area. Okay, so we have an entire team working here. And another aspect that you can see here is that the digital board, it's not the conventional board that we are using here. For an enhanced learning experience for y'all, we try to use this digital board, and obviously you will find a lot of PPTs and images and videos and all will be done in the classroom. Next, this is a philosophy which I personally believe in a lot: maximum learning in the classroom itself. See, it's not about you guys come, sit, I teach and you go away and again come back to the next class. No, that's not the point. You may write weekly test, but what is the point if you come to class every day, simply come, download and go away? No, that's not the point here. I will ensure that everyone in the class is gaining the maximum in the classroom itself. Yeah, that depends on me. That's my pedagogical style. We will see how that will be done in the class. Yeah. Before starting a new class, I generally take 5 to 10 minutes to revise the previous class, because without giving that connection, possibly you will not be able to appreciate the next class. So before the next class, I revise the previous class, and it's not only always a unilateral explanation. I will try to stimulate your minds. I'll give you homeworks. I'll ask you. I'll follow up on the homework that you people do in the do at your home. Okay. And I'll stimulate you. I'll give you some questions, general questions. I'll ask you a question. We'll have a discussion, a healthy discussions in the class, because these subjects, the subject matter is not something which you all don't know at all. About humans, you are also human. You also know something. You also have seen a marriage. You also have a family, so you can also give your views. So that will be the type of discussions that we'll have in the class. It's not simply one-way explanation and going away. No. It will be definitely a healthy interaction and a kind of an association, a teamwork and all these things. Apart from them, you will definitely get a printed material from the side of the institution, and in the class notes, definitely these two aspects will be many important. Even if you're planning to take anthropology, don't go in a rush and start stacking books. Please don't do that. Okay. So printed material will be given from the institute. In the classroom, you will get notes, and apart from that, I will also give you some value added handouts. Fine. So that you really need not waste time in reading all unnecessary stuff which is available in the market. And finally, generally many follow weekly tests, but I don't believe in weekly test. I believe in a chapter wise test, because in a weekly test what happens is that maybe you finished one topic of a chapter, 2 topics of a chapter, but the problem is that you will not have a holistic view. But once a chapter is done, what is happening here is that all the subtopics inside the chapter are interlinked to each other, right? Yes. Once the chapter is done, then you have a test. Is probably you will be having a better interconnected perspective. So we will have chapter wise tests, and it will be personally evaluated by the faculty, by me and other faculty will personally evaluate this. This generally doesn't happen in other institutes. So but then because it's not to blame them, they have too many numbers. They really cannot do. Even if they wish to do, they can't do. But then we have decided to do this, and we prefer more than quantity of students. We are trying to look at the quality. Maybe a few people, but then we need to deliver high quality. So that will allow us to personally evaluate your copies, and not only that, I believe that constant monitoring of each candidate's performance plays a very important role. Otherwise, you may tend to deviate. You simply come, you pay the fees, you come or not, it doesn't matter to the institute. That's what happens in a big institute. See, in a class of 300, 400, does it really matter if you come to the class or no? Do you think the teacher will be concerned? No. If they are concerned, they can't teach the class. Okay. But here what is happening? Because it is a limited number, I will catch hold of each of you, because you are paying the fee, but we take the responsibility. Yes, that every penny that you shell here, yes, you get that amount of knowledge and the personality that you need, which is required for the civil services. And a continuous monitoring. Suppose your performance starts varying. If it's continuous, consistent and improving, definitely brighter candidates will be given greater importance, no doubt about it. But the people who are performing bad, are not writing the examinations, yes, there will be a monitoring for you all. And personalized mentorship will be given to each of the candidate. And finally, what you do not get elsewhere is post-course support. We promise you emphatically and categorically that end of course is not end all. You will definitely have the complete support till you wish to study or till you clear the examination. Yes, we extend you post-course support. You can come study in the library, sit there. You can definitely talk to the faculty. If you really want to take a few sections of suppose you haven't attended or you do not have much clarity, next batch you can attend all these classes, and such kind of support will be there from our side. Fine. This is all for the day. I think this session was beneficial in giving you all an overview of the optional subject, anthropology. And I look forward to you all to meet you all in the next sessions. I have 4 more sessions. As I said, there will be very, very short, 10 to 15 minutes sessions of each of these 4 components. And I hope to meet you all there. Thank you all so much. Take care. Be safe from Corona.